Billionaire investor Bill Ackman ringing the alarm in an explosive interview earlier today on CNBC. Ackman saying the only cure for the coronavirus is for a worldwide shutdown. If you missed it, here's just part of what he said.
Until a vaccine is manufactured, distributed, and injected, we will go through a depression-era period in the country. Take a look at Hilton stock. It's going to zero, okay, along with every other hotel company, because every hotel is going to be shut down. The only answer for the world is to shut the world for 30 days. The hotel industry and the restaurant industry will go bankrupt first. Boeing is, on the brink, okay? Boeing will not survive without a government bailout. We have to shut the borders, okay? And then 30 days later, the virus is gone in America, largely gone in America. And then we have to be careful, okay, for the next 12 to 18 months until we have a vaccine. The other way we save lives is by saving the economy. The U.S. Treasury does not have enough money to bail out every company. You can't borrow your way out of the problem. You can't lend your way out of the war. You got to kill the virus. The closest I had was the financial crisis, where I'm saying, things are coming, bad stuff's coming. But this was a feeling like I've never had, like there's a tsunami coming. Corporate America is in shutdown right now, okay? It just doesn't know it yet.
The White House is now responding to Bill Ackman's comments. Let's bring in Scott Wapner with more on the interview and the response, and I guess what's going on right now behind the scenes at the White House.
That's right, Brian. Thank you. Eamon Javers, our colleague, asked the White House about Bill Ackman's comments earlier today, and they responded with the following, and I'll quote, this is from a White House official. As President Trump has said, we are going to ensure that we take care of all Americans, including affected industries and small businesses, and that we emerge from this challenge stronger and with a prosperous and growing economy. So that's the word from the White House tonight. I should also tell you, Brian, that Forbes is out with a story this evening saying that Bill Ackman called Blackstone to apologize for some of his comments made broadly about private equity and how private equity would go bankrupt because its portfolio companies would go bankrupt. Ackman apparently, according to Forbes, calling Blackstone to apologize for those comments and saying that he is buying those shares tonight. I haven't independently confirmed that, but that's what Forbes is reporting tonight. Amazing thoughts from Ackman today. Some taking them as too alarmist, scaring people, blaming him for causing even more selling on Wall Street. Others tonight suggesting that his call is right, that the government does need to do more. It was certainly talked about throughout the day today. He sought to clarify what he was saying at points after our interview, going back on Twitter today and suggesting that he is still positive on the market. He said he was buying a lot of stocks. He's long America. He just says it's predicated on the fact of the government doing even more than it's doing now. He thinks that it will, and that will come out better on the other side. So whereas some took his comments as, a doomsday scenario, and I can understand why some people would certainly take it that way, he is out saying today and tonight that he is long the market. He thinks there's going to be a massive bounce once this is all over, and that's the reason why he was buying stock. Brian?
Yeah, Scott, it certainly got a lot of attention. I know you'll talk more about it tonight, I believe, on the special. Scott Wapner, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
Let's bring in Dan Nathan. Dan, your reaction to Ackman's comments. I mean, is it, hell to come?
Well, listen, we're already feeling hell. We're seeing financial markets all over the world. They have crashed effectively, right? And so if you're looking at what also has gone on from the health and humanitarian crisis, it seems a bit hell for a lot of people out there. Certainly people in China that were locked down months ago, certainly people in Italy and now in other parts of Europe. I just say this. I saw that interview. It was amazing. Scott has brought on some amazing guests, very influential people, investors, people in corporate America over the last couple of months. And I think this was just a disaster, what he had to say here during market hours. I thought it was particularly alarmist. I think he kind of placed tremendous amount of emphasis on what is likely to be a very low probability outcome. That's A. And B, I just think that the federal government, other than the U.S. Federal Reserve, has not even done anything yet. Okay, so the fact that he's gone from zero to 1,000 in such a short period of time, I thought it was particularly alarmist. I don't think it's particularly helpful. I think if you're tuning tuning into CNBC to get a sense for what's going on with the markets, what's going on with the economy, I don't think that those opinions are particularly useful. If you're looking for how to kind of weather this humanitarian and health crisis, then don't listen to guys like Bill Ackman, okay? I mean, here's a guy who's, invested in the markets. That is his business. That's how he's made his millions or billions or however many he's got. And he sounded like a guy who was really worried about his funds going to zero. Certainly some of the investments in it. So listen, I don't know the guy. I don't mean to take any shots at him. I thought it was entirely inappropriate for what he had to say on the network today. And I think that investors, if you're looking for some guidance on the economy and on your investments in particular, I just think you want to stay away from views like that. I think you want to unfollow people like him on Twitter. Okay. To be honest with you, and stay tuned here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you don't have any strong points of view on that. Yeah. Maybe he'll call in. Who knows? But Dan, was there? We had these not to this level because we didn't have a health threat in 08, but we had these kinds of big statements that were made sort of near the bottom often in 08. And today had this kind of weird feel to it as well. Do you feel like we are inching towards some kind of a bottom? Not asking you to call it.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like we're getting these kind of big statements and weird things
I said
that are
this
happening.
to you last night, Sully. I can think back to other periods like this where markets have crashed and there are some fierce bear market rallies off lows. In 2001, there were two 20% rallies in that year that failed. They made new lows. In 2002, there was a 20% rally that failed. There was a new low before we bottomed. 2008, there was some similar sort of price action. So there will not be a V bottom, people. I mean, I'm just telling you that right now. We've had 1 month, 30% decline in the S&P 500. When you look back at the past two market crashes in 01 to 02, and then you look at 07 to 09, it took 2 years for the market to bottom in each time. Now, what's unique about this is the velocity and the time in which we've sold off, but it doesn't mean that we're going to have a V reversal. It's going to still take some time here. So for all those people trying to call a bottom, saying it's the buying opportunity of the century, I think you better understand if you're buying now, there is very likely to be lower lows, and you better be comfortable with further losses from here.